Welcome back, everybody. Hope you had a great Christmas. But the presents don't stop there, because now we're starting early today. We're starting here at 3 p.m. Korean Standard Time, and we'll be going for 4 matches long today. So it's going to be a bit of a longer day, kind of a double day, if you will. So 4 best-of-5s coming at you guys right now.
Yeah, we will have that slight break in between 2. So we'll go 2 and then slight break and then 2. I guess it could be about a half hour to an hour. But then again, like you said before, the Christmas presents do not stop.
They just keep coming.
Yeah. And then after a small break on the weekends, we come back on Monday for Pro League.
That we do.
And it just never stops, man.
Never stops. So get excited, get pumped for that. Today is Friday as well, which is typically the day that the Pro League lineups get submitted. So we'll probably be taking a look at that so you guys will see who can come out and play today. You can follow me on Twitter on ProxWolf. This guy's Brendan Valdez. But yeah, I'll be posting that like pretty much immediately when it comes out, because I got people texting me.
Yeah. Wolf's always on the ball. You're always getting all the updates like right when they happen.
I'm trying to like make sure everybody knows what's going on all the time over here in Korea, because I know when the news normally breaks, it's in Korean, and the players' names are in Korean and stuff, and that can get really confusing for everybody, and people want to just see it in English and get that sort of update. So definitely something I'm working on trying to improve for you guys over here in Korea. Today's matches are going to be really cool. Really sad we have a team kill for CJ. This happens a lot, actually. Like, I swear every time a CJ player is playing in the first round of a tournament, it's always like against another CJ player.
I mean, that's what Hero said in his interview, actually. He's like, I'm going up against ByuN again randomly here, but I'm really sorry, but I'm going to have to kill you once again.
Yeah, he's going to try to knock him out, man.
I honestly do think that he will have a decent chance at doing that, but we will have to see, of course. We do have the results up here for you guys. The red names there are the guys who have advanced, and we do have the matches coming up for you guys today as well. We got Super versus ByuL to start things off.
Yeah, we do, and then we'll have that team kill I was talking about, Hero versus ByuN, then Younghwa versus Leenock for the PVZ, and then Fantasy versus MarineKing to close things out. I'm looking at all these players' names, and if I'm not mistaken, the only other CJ player in this tournament is actually Sky High. When you think about that, like chances that these two players are to get into a team kill on the random draw. Oh, that's right, ByuL as well. You just pointed that out to me. Okay, but still, the chances are pretty small you get a team kill in this. So very unfortunate for those two, and they've actually fought each other before. Last time Hero won, as mentioned. We'll see if that happens again today. Also, we get to see if our third Yoi player, Leenock, is going to be able to outperform his teammates who got crushed yesterday, Son and Party.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the Yoi team is looking towards him to actually finally take a win for their team, but I don't know. Younghwa could come out and surprise us. He didn't do so well last season, but could be practicing a lot. As we did say before, we did go through the lineups, but I guess we can go through them again. Super versus ByuL, Hero versus ByuN. That's CJ Antis team kill, and then we go into Younghwa versus Leenock, and Fantasy versus MarineKing. What is the most interesting matchup for you today?
I was about to ask you the same question. But what I was gonna say was, Valdez, what's your favorite matchup, and why is it Fantasy versus MarineKing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that is probably the most interesting to me, especially because Fantasy, switching to a foreign team, going to Dead Pixels, is going up against MarineKing in a TVT. MarineKing doing very, very well, switching teams to MVP as well. So I feel like that could be very close, and could definitely go to Game 5 there.
Yeah, I feel like it could be close. I think most people would, based on recent results, lean towards MarineKing, which sounds crazy to say. But Fantasy definitely could bring it back. He's finally in a new team. He's settled down after he left SKT. And, you know, I know him pretty well. I was talking to him for a while, and he was looking really hard. And based on, you know, how well, you know, like how much of a hard time he was having finding a team, I feel like he must have had some really, really high requirements for which team picked him up. So I'm sure he's found a really happy home in Dead Pixels. And that's a really stressful moment in any pro gamer's life, actually, is switching teams, trying to get a new one. And once you finally find that home, you're like, okay, now I can actually focus on being a pro gamer again and not worried about salaries and travel and whatnot. Enough of that. Here's Super. Finally found his home, actually, in a foreign team on Invasion Esports.
That he did. He's been doing decently well as well. He did have a very cool performance, actually, in Kespa Cup. I forget who he took out, but it was a top-level player, and he was showing some really nice PvP. Just a guy that was not, like, really easy to kill. He was showing, like, a lot of strength and tenacity in his games, and I'm sure we'll see more of that today.
Yeah, Super actually looked incredible in the Kespa Cup. That was the moment where everyone's saying, oh my god, this guy must be back. Don't know what they're feeding him over there, but he's doing really well. He's over there teammates with Gumiho, but does not have that same support that Gumiho has from MVP. Now his opponent is ByuL, excuse me. I don't know what came over me right there. Another CJ player with a BY start to his name. This guy, great player in Pro League. His individual league results have not been as strong in Korea, but he was the runner-up, of course, of Season 3 of WCS America in 2013. So a great accomplishment there. And, I mean, this guy is coming back to Korea, I think, looking stronger than he was when he was playing in America even. I feel like this guy could have a great season.
That he can. I mean, he was one of the most winning players in Pro League, and that does show a lot because Pro League does actually have the best players in the world in any tournament. All the best teams here in Korea going head-to-head, and he came out time and time again for IM when he was on IM in last season. And now he's with CJ Antis, who, you could say is an even better team. But going straight into map bans and picks here, we did have Catalina banned by Super. Pretty interesting. And then Deadwing banned by ByuL.
Yeah, interesting on the Deadwing ban. ByuL's one of those players really similar style to Roro. Loves playing on Sejong, and he's going to be pretty happy that that's in his first 3 sets because he knows he's going to play it no matter what. And then, of course, Merry-Go-Round and Overgrowth, the other 2 maps in the first 3. If it goes the distance, Foxtrot Labs and Nimbus will be set 4 and 5. So that Nimbus map being the last map in the pool. And the Deadwing ban, an interesting pick just simply because it's a large map, and Zerg has historically liked to play on large maps against Protoss, but maybe it's not a map he feels comfortable with, and you're not always going to get cross spawns. It's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, that it is. And Super, a guy who's kind of like Myungshik in a way where he's very like mind-gamey and can really get into your head, can do like kind of weird, not standard builds, and I feel like we may see some of that coming out today here against ByuL. We will have to wait and see as we go into set number 1 here. It's going to be on Merry-Go-Round.
That it will. There's actually so many fans here in the studio today for these players that are arguably less known than some of the other teams you've seen play earlier in this tournament. But let's go into game number 1 here at the SSL. Round of 32, Super versus ByuL.
Up here in the top right on Merry-Go-Round in the red, the Protoss player, it is Super.
Look at that, he capitalized the S, but in his official ID it's lowercase. What's up with that?
What are you up to, Super?
Get some consistency, Super. Down to the 6 o'clock position, his opponent, formerly of IM. It's ByuL. This guy's been playing in team leagues for a long time. Those are guys who remember the older times of the GSTL. He actually played for Fnatic all the way back then, so this guy's been around the block.
That he has. As you guys can see, some eager audience members looking on.
Yep.
Got pretty much all the seats down there packed.
Yeah.
So, pretty nice crowd we got today, as you were mentioning.
And it's really early, so it's a different time, so I expect that things will fill in as people get off work and whatnot, since today's not a holiday in Korea, and it's still pretty early, so once that Friday finishes up, people can get off work and get down here to watch those later matches.
Yeah. Did see actually Super defeat Classic, I believe, in that winner's bracket finals in the qualifiers to qualify for this. So, pretty big guy in that, Classic, definitely not an easy opponent.
And was able to beat Dynamite is ByuL, which Dynamite is the new player that everyone is talking about right now. SKT just picked him up, and he did really well in the qualifiers. You guys actually cast, I think, only one of his games.
I think so, yeah.
And he looked really strong. He didn't end up winning that game. This might have, was that actually this game that I'm thinking of? It might have been ByuL versus Dynamite. I can't remember. There were a lot of qualifier games, but anyways, beating him is, if you look at that list, it's like, well, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know if that means anything, but people are talking this guy up a lot right now, so.
Yeah, one of those players with a lot of potential. We're just going to have to wait and see how SKT kind of develops him. We saw Dream go over to SKT, and already in his first match was looking a ton better. And he was already a good player, so definitely got to look at those new pickups by SKT.
Well, talking about this game here, ByuL went double hatch before pool. Blind, actually. He sent his Overlord the wrong direction and wasn't able to identify that this was actually a Nexus first into gate. And this is basically the perfect build for him to have against what Super is doing. And he gets lucky because of how this works out. He expected Super to do a build like this on Merry-Go-Round, and it just works out for him perfectly, as Super can't really punish this just yet. Although, because he went Gate after Nexus instead of Forge, he will have a faster Warp Gate research, and the follow-up pushes can be strong, so ByuL will have to respond to that accordingly once he gets this information with his Overlord that he's sending right now. It's getting a little bit closer to that main base.
We didn't see the ultra greedy, like super greed out of ByuL. He did go the double hats before pool, but he does get the pool down a long time before gas here, so that Zergling speed will be delayed, but it will offer him some safety. Unfortunately, he's not really going to need it, as you were mentioning before. Super did go for that Nexus first. Already a Chrono Boost here on the Warp Gate research, though, so we could see some aggression coming out of Super here pretty fast.
I like this Chrono because he scouted what happened. He knows the Overlord is not going to be in the base in time to see that Chrono scout either. And all the Overlord actually scouts is that the Mothership Core is on the way and turns around, as our observer just highlighted. So he doesn't know about the Chrono. And this is a great follow-up. And ByuL, he's getting that speed research, or he will be once he has enough gas. But that's the thing. He doesn't have enough gas yet with this type of greedy opening. So this could be a really, really strong follow-up here for Super. Just hit him with before speed is done. He's already moving across the map. He knows his timing incredibly well. And this is going to force a lot of lings out of ByuL. He's going to want to make drones, but won't be able to for a while. And look at that timing on this wall. Oh, never mind. There's a slip in. Oopsie daisy.
Squeezes by. But the Zergling will get into the main. May not be able to scout everything. Oh, actually he does. Gets by that sentry here. And sees another Chrono Boost on this Warp Gate research, another one actually going down as well here. So ByuL, he does have all those queens out, but he's got to get the production going on some army units here, because with all those Chrono Boosted units, Chrono Boosted Mothership Core as well, already some damage coming on onto this first queen here.
Yep, and she's likely to fall right away. Too slow off creep to escape. And a few lings do pop out. That'll save the second queen for now. And she's going to head right over here onto creep onto that third base location. Roachborn is so late, though, and this ling speed still isn't finished. There's going to be a lot of damage done here. Those drones actually might even need to be pulled. I don't think he's going to be able to kill this hatch. But if the stalkers are able to sneak around the left side, they might be able to pick off a drone or two. He's actually not warping in any more stalkers. I think he's just going to recall here as soon as speed finishes. Could have forced the issue a little bit more, but he doesn't know that. And he just wants to play it safe here. He's already forced a ton of lings.
Just killed the queen as well. I mean, he's doing a lot of damage. He does go for another warp in here of Zealots. Going to be very, very useful against those lings. But like we were saying, the speed is about to finish here. And he's got to be careful. He does recall right away. One stalker actually getting left behind. So
That's
sad.
The saddest thing, man.
Cry every time, man.
Oh, boy.
Look at that. Even more lings actually forced here. ByuL may want to go for a counterattack here. You know, on this map, there is little destructible rocks at the top of that ramp, but already Super's got a pretty sizable force here, as well as a lot of sentries, so he should be okay.
Taking a third base on this map is so difficult as a Protoss, especially when you do an opening like this. I think what we're going to see here actually is a follow-up with Blink and +1, and he's going to attack with that. He might do the empty third. Ooh, some pretty decent force fields there to trap some lings. He might do the empty third version, and that probe is coming over here to go ahead and drop that down. I think there was a scout on the Twilight Council. I'm going to actually verify that for you guys with this observing PC. Yeah, he saw the Twilight Council, so he knows that that tech is on the way. So he's going to respond by just playing it safe, not making too many drones. He's going to get roach speed right away now that this lair is done. He's got +1 on the way. He's even actually going to go into a Hydralisk Den for extra safety against the Blink Stalker push. And if you can actually get enough Hydras out to defend this, you are going to be golden. And the cool thing about the Hydralisk, too, is they've got this extra ability to do counterattacks. If you hold the push off decently well, then you've got those Hydras to actually kill that third base.
Coming over here with the Speedlings, just pressuring at that third base. Could possibly do a lot of damage. I mean, this Nexus has been going for a while. Oh, man, just not barely able to do enough damage here. Super does get back for the defense. And with the Hydras that are coming out, actually, Super is going for a Robo-Bay behind this as well. You know, he could put on some pressure with that Blink. Maybe just get some kind of SimCity over that third base, make sure it can't be killed anymore, and possibly moved out here. But he will start making Colossi as well.
Yep. And so this looks like it's more going to be... Oh, hold that thought. This Nexus is very weak from before. He blinks back home, chases the lings away. Super knows that if he kills all these lings, he's in such a great spot to continue the attack. And so obviously ByuL has to run away with those lings. He doesn't want to trade the lings for the Nexus because then he's just going to die because the Nexus isn't that important yet. Now that the Nexus is mining and the Hydralisks have been scouted, I think we are just going to see that later transition into the Colossi like you were talking about earlier, Valdez. And
yeah, +2 Colossi coming out. You just have to be careful with these Hydras. He already gets 3 force fielded away. Well, that last one does get away. He could have possibly blinked, but he does force that army out, and he's going to actually try to focus down that Nexus. Could he actually get this? He is just focusing it down here. The Nexus cannon does go off there, and it's just not enough DPS.
You know, he doesn't get the Nexus, but he does weaken it a little bit further, which means a little bit of that little Hydra attack could actually knock it down. I don't know what to call that little animation they do in this game. It's not very scary compared to the Brood War one, but they might just that Nexus down, man.
Good, man.
It's pretty low. Roach is out here a bit exposed. Need to be careful. The Stalkers do have blink, so they've got a lot of extra flexibility. This cannon comes out at the right moment.
Some Roach is coming over here, and they do a lot of damage. He's just baiting this army out here. He doesn't actually care if he loses these units. He's losing a lot of units here, but he does take out that Nexus at the same time.
Yep, takes out the Nexus, using the Roaches instead of the Hydras. A much better choice because they're much faster.
But this counterattack is going to be brutal. He lost 22 Roaches in this, and Super knows what he's got to do. He knows that ByuL committed a lot of units to just taking down that Nexus here, and he's already going to put some pressure on here. This third base is not that far away.
Yep, it's pretty close by. He's already closed the distance. And the Roaches are so important here because the Hydras alone, by the way, without speed, are going to have such a hard time if they have to ever engage off creep. The Hive that's coming out here would be nice. And, oh, this Colossus is way too out of position. He's going to have to force field to save that. Barely saves it. The Vipers are so expensive, I don't think he can actually afford to get those out right now. You know, he only has +1 versus the +2 like you were talking about earlier on those Colossi, on those Blink Stalkers.
I think that's what he's pushing for here, though. He's got to wait for that Hive. Here we go. He's just trying to get that really nice concave and wait for Super to push into this. He's being super patient. Just waiting for the right moment here. But here we go with the push. But nice force fields cut him off there. Not getting too many Roaches, though. And a big blink forward trying to attack that right flank first. But again, ByuL just does follow up from the left side. And he's got a huge Roach Hydra force here.
That position on those Colossi was amazing by Super, though. Right next to that hole, so the Roaches can't burst in and try to target it down like we're seeing right here. First Colossus was weakened from earlier, does get targeted down. A nice time warp to isolate the units on the left side. Super is using his force fields really well. It's not just the force fields, but it's how he follows them up. Force fields to the right side, then time warps to the left. So both sides are going to take an unfavorable engagement if they continue to push forward. But ByuL, as you can see, he's holding on, and now he's got that Hive. Now he can start making Vipers. In fact, his Vipers are already ready. He has, well, just one of them out on the map, making a second one now. He's starting to build that energy. +2 is getting closer, and he's got that fourth base up and saturated, and actually almost connected by creep. So Super just needs to sit tight here and might even want to make a Templar Archives to help deal with these Vipers that I'm sure at this point he's realized is going to be the tech of choice. He hasn't seen anything else. I guess he could be scared about a Mutalisk switch as well. The High Templar could be good against that too.
Yep, definitely a possibility as we go later game here. But for now, ByuL just sticking to this composition, just spreading out here on the map. He definitely wants to be aggressive right now, as he did kill a considerable amount of units in the attack before from Super. Just trying to spread out here, trying to possibly pick one of the Colossi, but Super, very nice micro here. Nice control, keeping his Stalkers in the front, not letting that Viper really get in position here. He actually snipes it down and blinks away.
That was a great snipe there. If that Viper grabs the Colossus, this push has so much power, but you can see that one unit, that one single unit actually turns the tide of the battle. You snipe it like that, we just saw a second snipe, and then suddenly the Zerg army doesn't look as scary. Good control here, pulling up and hitting that third Colossus over at the back, but this is just way too much Protoss DPS here. And Hydra speed is still not finished, and he's still engaged without it. And this is possibly just going to end the game because he's going to lose all these units. His fifth base is now going to be free for the taking. Stalkers can continue to blink. And all he needs is a forward warp in to seal the deal, I feel.
Yeah, just a really aggressive engagement out of ByuL when he didn't really need to. He didn't need to force it with the Vipers. He was just trying to catch the Colossi, but that control out of Super was just not letting him do it. Now he's on creep here. The Viper's trying to suck that energy out of the hatchery here. Here we go with a huge blink forward, trying to snipe him out, but not quite able to. But again, Not that many units here for ByuL.
Yeah, just not very many. And Time Warp's about to get dropped down, too. There it goes. It doesn't even matter at this point. GG, Super. Taking game number 1. Could be the start of a bit of an upset here.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you could see it on ByuL's face when he GG'd out. He was not happy with that game. He was definitely ahead once he held off the aggression, once he got that 3rd Nexus down. And he had his own 4th base up there, and he was trying to take the 7th and 8th gases, but he just, I feel like he pushed the issue too much. I feel like if he just sat back, teched up a bit, and just waited a bit